Welcome to the Mind of Psyche, where we talk music, addiction, comedy, culture. If you like this content, please leave feedback and subscribe. Let's get into it. On this episode, I want to discuss why people don't want to work. I'm going to get into it right now. And what I mean by that is why people just want to live off the system. And I'm not saying everybody. I'm saying there are a select few, maybe more, that just want to get assistance and live their life. Not do anything. Watch TV, play video games, hang out with their friends. But the people that work and pay taxes are the ones that are funding that. And I think we're pretty much at the point, we're just done with it. We're working so much. We're working so hard. Often we're even working 2 jobs, if not we're working 1 with overtime. Should we be, as a civilization in the U.S., as U.S. citizens, people that live in the United States, why are we paying so much in taxes? And I'm going to just bitch about this because we pay so much and get so little for it that I've pretty much I just go about my day and I try not to bitch. But the older I get, the more I bitch. But I do an internal bitch, I think a lot and I don't necessarily say it out loud. But I think it's time that I just get this little rant off my chest. You put in years and years and years into the system, and you're not going to be able to retire. I know I'm never going to be able to retire. I'm going to work until the day I die, and that's just the fact. Yes, did I do that to myself? Yes, I did. For the majority of everything, yes, I did. I did a lot of wrong moves, and I'll take acceptance for that. And that's why I know that I'm not going to be able to retire. However, with Social Security, people my generation, we're not going to get it anymore. The government's going to somehow finagle out of it by the time we reach our time to retire. Or better yet, there's not going to be anything left in the accounts by the time I get to said retirement age. Now, I will have to say, you never should depend on the government, which I don't, which no one should. Now, there are times when people are struggling and they need certain assistance. They need, food stamps, for a bit till they get back on their feet. Let's say they lose their job or they get sick or something like that. People should be helped 100%, but not for generation after generation. There's been conversations I've had that multiple generations have been on assistance since the New Deal came out back in the 30s. So they're talking about, and people my age that I've talked to, that they know of people who their grandparents started on in the 30s, started on the system, and every single generation has not stopped getting benefits. Now, could there be some fraud? I'm not one to say there is. There are a lot of people that get services they don't belong with having. On the flip side, there are people that actually need assistance that get denied. And we know this isn't a fair world. We totally know that this is not a fair world. Does it ever occur to anybody that, hey, as good as it is to feel for others and to assist them, we need to worry about ourselves. And what I mean by that is our country. We need to worry about us first and then worry about everybody else. Everything's keep on getting more and more expensive. Everything is getting more and more expensive. Never goes down. You never see anything ever go down. It just keeps on going up and going up and going up. And then when you try to save and you try to invest and you try to do something for your future, shit always goes down. For some reason, things happen. I'm cool with that. Things happen. But if you're just laying on your ass eating fucking bonbons, and eating fried chips and drinking Pepsi and Mountain Dew and just watching your soap opera shows, not doing anything, not contributing, and you are able-bodied and able-minded to work, it may not be a job that you particularly want to do, but you should. You should want to do good for yourself. You should want to do good for your family, for your friends, for whoever your close-knit people are. People aren't rich generally because they just get money. There are a lot of people that are inherit money, 100%. I too was in that class. Wasn't a large, huge amount of billions of millions of dollars, but for the most part, I was in that class and I ruined that because of my addiction. We're moving on from that right now. What I'm getting at is most millionaires work their asses off. They're achievers. They're up 18, 19 hours a day trying to work and provide for themselves and their families and try to do better. Now, we can all say that it's one of those things where we don't want to work. I think the majority of people, not saying we don't want to work necessarily, but we don't want to have to work 70 hours a week to barely get by on things. When you see your neighbor sometimes getting Section 8, all of these benefits and all of these services, not doing a darn thing. And sometimes they're even driving nicer cars than you. That's a whole nother situation that I'm not going to get into. What I'm saying is, during my rant Tuesday, which I think I'm going to start doing a rant Tuesday or maybe a rant Thursday. Because, it's not quite the weekend, but, we're almost getting there, right? Just feel some type of way, you do. When you see that your net gets smaller and smaller and smaller, raises don't come as much as you're afforded, as much as you work. Interest rates keep on going up. And why am I saying this? I just see how hard people work. And I'm not talking about myself. I'm talking about just the general population in my surrounding and all my friends and family. And I see how hard they work. Not saying they don't have things and not saying they aren't 100% happy. Well, no one's 100% happy. But for the most part, they wake up and they're in a good mood and they go about their day. What I'm saying is, I care about them. And even though they're doing the best they can, could they be doing better if our government did things a little bit differently? If we didn't, give so much money to other countries and, supported our own people, like VA, anybody that, in my opinion, anybody that enlisted and fought for their country, no matter what branch, no matter what position, no matter what grade, they should not ever be homeless. If there's one thing that I believe in, it's they sacrifice for themselves. So they should at least have something. They shouldn't be homeless. And yes, we could give that whole debate of, yeah, there should be, nobody can be homeless. They're all, not everyone chooses to be homeless 100%. Like I said in my last episode, a lot of things happen that requires that you end up being homeless. And a lot of that time is people get addicted and it goes from there. It's a domino effect. And a lot of them happen to be veterans. But when you're paying pensions of other countries and you're paying their government workers pensions, why are we doing that? So basically what I'm saying is I'm at the point, I've been at the point for a while. Regardless of fairness, we all know life ain't fair. We just need to do for what we do for ourselves, have better roads, have more. No American should be hungry. I get that. No American should be hungry. And there's plenty of money to make sure that nobody should go hungry. And there are certain people that can't work, that are disabled, whether it be with a handicap, whether they're mentally incapable of working, physically incapable of working. There are those people out there, and they do deserve benefits in their own right because it's something that's out of their hands. So they should be assisted, in my opinion. This is more for the people that are just fucking lazy. And I'm, like I mentioned in my last episode, I have a PhD in laziness. And I've been very blessed in my life to be able to this point, live a very comfortable life. And I thank my family for that. Not everybody's as blessed as I am. Not everybody has had the opportunities that I have had. And if I woulda, coulda, shoulda done better in my earlier years, I'd be in a million times better financial state, mental state, so on and so forth. But these experiences that I've gone through all the way since adolescence have led me up to where I am today. We work through what we need to work on. And I have the belief of things happen at the time they happen for that particular reason. You don't have to agree with me. That's my thing. That's what I believe in. Do I believe that every person that's put on this earth is supposed to do a certain thing? Not necessarily, but everybody that's born to this earth should have an opinion and should be able to do what they want to do. That's a whole nother bag of worms. Yes, I said bag instead of a can, whatever. But as people in the US, primarily, this is what I'm talking about. I'm talking for us that have the freedoms. Now, there may be some debate. Oh, well, the US doesn't have as many freedoms. Okay. talk to people that lived in other countries and that are now citizens of the United States, and they were born in different countries. Get their perspective on things. Listen, be active when you listen to people. I mean, at the end of the day, is it necessarily evil? I think being lazy is definitely something that could be worked on. It's definitely a skill on both positive and negative. Just keep that in mind. Just keep that in mind when you're when you're working and you get your check and you see that it just keeps on your net gets smaller and smaller and smaller. Bills go up and up and up. And for what? So we can just continue to live paycheck to paycheck? Nah, we're done with this. I mean, I say that, but in reality, this is going to keep on happening. And we just need to better ourselves. And we've just gotten used to just busting our butts. So with that being said, thank you for listening. I'm out. Thank you for tuning in. Please subscribe and leave a comment. You can hear me on all major platforms and socials under the Mind of Psychic podcast. See you next time.